Hello and welcome to vlog 2, which is following on from vlog 1 because of the very unexpected positive reaction that I received actually from a whole load of people. Thank you for your comments, thank you for your kind words, thank you for people that have messaged me. It's been really, really heartwarming. And so I'd just like to say straight off the bat, if you are new and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. It will go a long way to keeping this thing going, and I want to keep this thing going. And if you do too, subscribe and like, and you can always unlike and subscribe afterwards if you think it's a load of rubbish, but still, hopefully you won't. So it's about us people of this golden generation. We grew up rebelling against everything, exploring everything, and just having the best music. And as a result of that, there are people now, and I'm 70, there are people, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, still doing stuff. It hasn't got to be music, whatever your passion is, art, sculpture, writing, photography, painting, whatever it is, this is a place for you really to communicate with each other in the comments and talk to each other. And I'll mention, as I'm going to, I'll mention people for you to get in contact with for various different reasons. Come on to that at the end. But in the meantime, the kind of the body of today's episode is I don't want to get into a thing where we're like, it was so much better in the old days. Kids today don't know what they're missing. I don't want to get into a thing of that, but I do want to celebrate our golden generation. And I want to talk about the good stuff about it. And I was minded last week, I mentioned that I saw Hendrix, and I'm going to talk about Hendrix in a little while. But first of all, I was thinking about it, and I thought, God, I saw Hendrix when I was a kid. Actually, how old was I? And I went and Googled it, 1967, I saw him in Worthing. And I would have been, I got tall really quickly as a kid. I was like able to go out and do stuff that I shouldn't have been able to go out and do because I looked a bit older than I was. But anyway, I'd have been coming up to my 13th birthday. My birthday's in April, so I saw him in February 1967 in the Pier Pavilion in Worthing. At the time, I was living in Littlehampton in Sussex, and the gig scene was amazing, and that's what I really wanted to kind of talk about. There was the Pier Pavilion and the Assembly Rooms in Worthing, and several gigs in Brighton, and it was like every week you could go and see someone else. I mean, The Move, The Who, Cream, endless bands that were huge at the time, and so Pink Floyd, and bands whose legacy, and some of those bands are still going and we enjoy today. But you could go and see a band like every week. And if you wanted to do that now, if you wanted to go and see, a top band every week now, I think you'd have to be in a different country every week for a start. And not only that, but you need a wodge of dosh really to do it. And we were able to do it as kids with a bit of pocket money, and those of us who were a bit older and in their teens and early 20s or whatever, just had low-paying jobs. Nobody had the sort of wealth that people have got these days. And we were able to do it, go and see, like, the cream of music, excuse the pun, like every week. And I think that what that did, comparing that to what kids have got today, which is amazing, anything you want to listen to. If I want to, talk to my kids about a bit of music or whatever, I haven't got to go and search out an album or it's there instantly at the click of a button, which is astonishing. But the thing I think about going to see bands when we were coming up, those of us that, that were all in bands and playing music or whatever, it was like going to see a gang. And you wanted to be in that gang. And you could, I mean, most of these bands, at the start of their fame, they were people that they met in school or college or university or whatever, but they met as teenagers and they bonded like teenagers bond, and it was them against the world, and then within a few years or whatever, they were up there on the stage doing it, and you could see, what they'd been through together. It came off, something about those people. It came off the stage at you, and you wanted to be in that gang. And that certainly, the first band I was in, I think I was 9 or 10, so probably a bit before I'd been to any gigs. So I don't know I started playing music when I was 3. Knitting needles in a biscuit tin. Sunday night at the London Palladium, Jack Parnell and his orchestra, I'd be sitting there. I don't know how I was allowed to play with knitting needles at 3 years old. I was a persuasive kid, but anyway, I did, and that was my kind of musical outing. And then, incidentally, I was in a band with Jack Parnell's son many years later, who was also the drummer in Spinal Tap. Rick Parnell, sadly, who's passed, is no longer with us. But so funny how things go, and that will be a story for another episode of this fine vlog. But so just that thing, I think, of going and witnessing this gang on the stage that you wanted to be part of. You wanted your own gang, and I think that was a big influence on us people who have, on whatever level, kind of pursued a career at it, or even if it's just been a sideline and a hobby. That's a very attractive thing. But back to Hendrix, as promised. When I moved in here very recently, in this flat I live in now, first thing I did after I got my guitars and I got my studio set up, the first thing I stuck on the wall was this. I'll go get it. Jimmy. And God, this is really weird. I knew I was going to talk about Jimi Hendrix in this episode, and just before I started recording it, and today, which is the 18th of September, I'm recording it, I saw something on Facebook, it's the anniversary of his passing. I had no idea, so that's very spooky. Maybe it's because he kind of lives with me. I don't know. But anyway, the interesting thing about this photograph is that I think I picked it up in a vintage shop in Lewis. But anyway, the weird thing about it is, I'm going to try and show you. Look at Jimmy's expression on his face. So, what I always do is when I'm here recording, and I'll come up with a song or whatever, and I'm just like, what do you think, Jimmy? Or I'll play a solo, I'll record a solo, and it's like, what do you think, Jimmy? And Jimmy's like, yeah, what? He's a hard taskmaster. But what he means to me, his playing. I mean, he was such a hugely influential player. We all know that. All guitar players, Hendrix was the man. And I think for me, not that he was some great technical player or knew all the scales. I mean, maybe that's why I don't know any scales either, but and I'm not taking anything away from some fine players now who would, Eric Gales knows the scales. I didn't know that was going to come out, but he does, Christone Ingram, Kingfish, they're very technical players, but they feel as well, and you can feel what they're talking about. But the thing with Hendrix was that I think when he played, he spoke. The guitar actually spoke to you and reached a very deep place. And that for me was the kind of magic of Hendrix. And and now he's kind of like, now with his disapproving self, he's become my nemesis. Very strange that I decided to talk about him today, not knowing anything at all about it being the anniversary of his passing. So I don't know what that means. It means I should move on probably. And yeah, I mentioned right at the beginning, I'm going to tell you about some people. So there's a lady, Rhiannon Hill, and she'll be in the comments here or in the last vlog. And she's actually, she's a psychotherapist that specialises in helping people that suffer performance anxiety or stage fright. And, you know, if you do, get in touch with her, or especially if you're to the point where you've always wanted to play, always wanted to get up on the stage, and you've been too scared, see Rhiannon, and you'll be up there in a couple of weeks, enjoying yourself at your local pub, open mic night, thinking, why wasn't I doing this 50 years ago? So that's one person I wanted to tell you about. And another person is somebody called Phil Stein, who you can he's also in the comments either here or in the last vlog. And Phil once wrote a lyric a day for a year, 350 sets of lyrics just in one day. So he's a prolific lyric writer, and he's up for a collaboration. So, you know, if you want to get together with Phil, these comments or the last vlog comments. And the other person I wanted to tell you about is my old mate, Steve Savari, who he was the keyboard player when I was in that thing on the telly, in the Rock Till We Drop thing. He was the keyboard player in the same band that I was in. Just a really talented player, singer, and producer. In fact, he used to be in the band Central Line. I don't know if you remember them. Of course you do. But anyway, he was in Central Line. But he's just a really... he's into all sorts of things. He'll be into collab sessions, whatever. If he's left a comment here, then get in touch with him if you want to. If he hasn't, just ignore him, really. And so... I think we've come to the end of this little chit chat, and I'm going to, as I said last week, I've been working with some hip hop beats and just experimenting, you know, trying to get in touch with the kids. I think trying to get in touch with the young people. But anyway, I've been really enjoying myself, and I've taken one of my old rock songs and put some hip-hop underneath it. I'm writing new songs with hip-hop beats as well, and just experimenting and seeing what's going on. And I'm going to play that for you now, a video of that song called Acid Man. It's just a video of me playing it in here along to the backing track. But weirdly as well, this is probably my most Hendrix-influenced tune. There's just something about the riff and it reminds me of Purple Haze somehow. I think it's because it's kind of sliding around on the main riff, sliding around on the bass strings. And maybe a little bit sort of vocal melody kind of reminds me of it as well. It's not a rip-off or it's not a direct thing or whatever, but I don't know. Have a listen, see if you can hear it too. And in the meantime, I hope I haven't waffled too much. I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, tell me what you think. Tell me if you think I am waffling too much or you think I should waffle some more. And subscribe. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Please do. And until next time, do stuff. Do stuff. And if you want me to mention you about anything you're doing, you want me to promote your music, your art, your photography, whatever it is, you want to meet other people, this is the place to do it. In the comments now, get in the comments now, talk to each other. And all right, I'll see you next time. Ta-da. town with your head held high. You don't want but friends or anything. Kick back is what you do. What do I know? I know I'm not your kind. I'll only tell you lies, 'cause I'm an acid man. I'm an acid man. You got your life up front now. It's all planned for you. No need for you to worry. Kick back is what you do. What do I know? I know I'm not your kind. I'll only tell you lies, 'cause I'm an acid man. I'm an acid man. Think the party's over here by you. But I'm here to tell you that ain't true. You think there's something better over here by you. You can't take it now, what I'm about to do. But you think nobody watching you, think nobody see what you see. Well, I'm here to tell you, somebody watching every move. So take a lesson from me. I know I'm not your kind. I wanna tell you lies as a man. But I'm an acid man. I'm an acid man, yes I am. Ooh, yes I am.